Hey, what's up, guys? This is another story time. I can't remember which episode this is. Maybe episode 6? We'll find out. But anyway, today I want to talk about the time that I met Ray Lewis. Just thought it would be fitting because the Super Bowl just finished up. And the story that I have is when I met Ray Lewis at the Super Bowl in Atlanta. I don't know if I can't remember what year it was, 98, 99, 2000, somewhere in there. But I don't know if you guys remember this, but Ray Lewis was arrested for murder at the Super Bowl. And literally, I met Ray Lewis about 6 hours before he was arrested. I'll start from the beginning. We went down to Atlanta. We drove St. Pete, and we ended up hitting just sheets of ice. Like, Atlanta was just covered in ice. It was the worst Super Bowl ever because the weather was just so bad. We ended up, on the way down, the guy that was following us ended up doing about 360s on the freeway. We were doing about 50 miles an hour down the freeway. He hit some black ice and he just did like 3 flips, not total flips, but donuts. And then he ended up on the right side, like straight ahead, like he was supposed to be, and just kept driving. It was pretty amazing. It was the coolest thing I ever saw. I'm glad I wasn't in the car with him because I'm sure he was really scared. But like I said, the weather was just horrible. We were getting autographs that week, and we talked to Randy Gradishire. We were getting his autograph, and we had never been to like inside the Super Bowl, and we were asking him if he was going to the Super Bowl, and he said no, and he would sell us his tickets at face value. I can't remember what face value was at the time. Maybe $100 or $200. It wasn't much. It was like players, what they pay, and we just decided not to do it. We just watched it at I can't even remember, Outback Steakhouse or something, someplace like that. But we found out that Ray Lewis was going to be at the Sports Authority. And we decided to go try to get his autograph. It was free of charge because Sports Authority paid him, $150,000 or something to come sign autographs for free. So we get there, about 10 minutes early. And on the way there, every basically 50 feet there was a wrecked car on the side of the road. I mean, the weather was just that bad. Just abandoned car, like every 50 feet. So it was, like I said, it was a little touch and go getting there. So when we got there, I think Ray was about 5 minutes late or something, and which is understandable. The weather was horrible, and there was nobody in the store. It was completely empty. I mean, it was the employees, me and my buddy, and Ray Lewis and his buddies. It was him and I didn't count them, but there was 6 or 8 guys that were with him. They had a bunch of chairs behind them and stuff. And we sat there, and Ray signed, I think he signed 3 footballs for me. He signed a mini helmet. I think he signed 5 index cards for me and a couple trading cards. So he signed everything I had. I didn't have anything left in my bag because what was the chances of me getting 10 or 12 Ray Lewis autographs? Slim and none. So I didn't bring a whole lot of stuff. And like I said, nobody was showing up, and him and I were just sitting there at the table. He let me sit beside him at the table, and we were just kind of BSing for a little bit because nobody was there. And he told his buddies, he's like, hey, if you guys want to go out and shop around and buy you guys something, go ahead and buy something, put it on my card, and gave him one of his credit cards. And said, just, buy whatever you want, within reason. He goes, don't go out and, blow thousands of dollars, but, if there's something cool you want, grab it. So here's what I found out later, when the trial came out, is the knife that killed the guy was bought at the Sports Authority, and it was bought with Ray Lewis's credit card. So basically that's how, Ray Lewis got tied into it, because he bought the murder weapon. Which, he didn't know it was a murder weapon. He just told his buddies to go out and buy some stuff. And like I said, they each grabbed 1 or 2, $50, $100 items or whatever. And, I called the people and asked them if they wanted me to come down to be like a witness, like a character witness, because, I'd met Ray before that and met his friends and stuff and saw what happened, at the Sports Authority. The attorneys never got back to me. Like I said, we hung out there, and he was just really cool, man. He just super cool dude. Like I said, I didn't get to see his friends that much because his friends took off and was out shopping. So then he was getting ready to leave. Basically, he was supposed to be there for 2 hours. We sat there and BS'd for like 45 minutes. And the manager came over and told him, hey, Ray, it doesn't look like anybody's going to show up because the weather's so bad. Why don't you go ahead and take off? You can take off if you want to. You don't have to stay your whole 2 hours. He's like, all right, cool. So he got up, and by then his buddies were back from shopping. So they take off. And then me and my buddy, we look down, and there's a stack of like, I don't know, 15 or 25, like 8x10 photos sitting there that, you know, they were going to give away to like, for people to get signed. And I told the manager, I said, hey, what are you going to do with those photos? And he's like, I'm just going to throw them away. You guys want them, you can have them. So I was like, oh, okay. So I swooped them up, and I ran out the door as fast as I could, trying to get Ray to get, you know, try to get him to sign them before he leaves. He goes out, and he had this great big Cadillac Escalade, like, you know, stretched Cadillac Escalade. It was awesome. It was a cool car. You know, I was yelling, Mr. Lewis, could you please sign my photos? And he was already in the car by then, and one of his buddies was, you know, getting ready to get in the car, and his buddy's like, hey man, he's done with that crap. He didn't say crap, but he said the S word. He said, he's done with that. We're leaving. And then all of a sudden, Ray comes out of the passenger side, like from the back, and he's like fixing his sport coat because he had a nice sports jacket on. Hey my man, what can I help you with? And I was like, hey, the manager just gave me like all those photos, and you know, if you can't sign them, I'm just going to throw them away, and I hated to throw away some good photos. Is there any way you could sign these photos for me? He's like, yeah man, no problem. So he signed all those photos for us. It was like 15 or 20 photos. It was pretty awesome. It was pretty amazing. Like I said, he was just a cool guy, man. I sat there, like I said, with him for like 45 minutes just talking, and he was just a cool guy. And then, like I said, when we asked him to sign his photos, he was just like cool as could be, man. He just came out and signed those 15 photos for us. And I told him, I said, yeah, I just really didn't want to throw these away. They were just like really nice photos. And like I said, if you could sign them, that'd be great. That'd be awesome. So yeah, he signed them for us, and it was cool. So that was my story about meeting Ray Lewis. I mean, he's one of the greatest football players of all time. He was a big dude. I mean, like when you see him on TV, he looks like a big dude, but no, you don't understand. He is a big dude that's built like a Greek god. I mean, he is just freaking ripped. He was like, I don't know, 6'3", 6'4", something like that. And his chest went like this, and it went like that. It's just a huge dude. He had these like huge arms. I mean, his arms looked like they were like 24 inches or something. I mean, just huge, great big arms. Just one of the biggest dudes I've ever seen in my life. I don't know. Another guy I met was big and ripped like that was LeVar Arrington that played for Penn State. Man, that dude was ripped too. But like I said, Ray Lewis I think was even thicker. He was just like, man, I wouldn't want to mess with that dude, to tell you the truth. If it ever came down to it, he was a big dude. But like I said, he was the nicest guy, man. We had such a good time hanging out with him, and he signed so many autographs for us. It must have been, like I said, 30 or 40 autographs, and he was just super nice. But like I said, I always wanted to go down and kind of, stick up for him and let him know, how he was to like, just regular people. I mean, I wanted to tell him like, hey, he was as nice as could be. I hung out with him for an hour beforehand that day, and like I said, he gave his card to his buddies to buy some stuff. That's the only reason why, he bought the murder weapon. It's not like they hung out and said, hey, we want to buy this knife to kill somebody. They just like, let his buddies buy some stuff. And like I said, they all bought something. They didn't all buy knives. I mean, they all had some different kinds of things, So, but like I said, it was cool meeting him. Like I said, I'm glad I got to meet him. And like I said, how we found out about it is, we basically sleep about 2 hours a day when we're at the Super Bowl chasing autographs. And it was about, I think we went to bed about 4 o'clock in the morning, and we woke up about 5:30. I think we woke up at 5, so we were going to get an hour's sleep that night. And we were supposed to see, we were trying to get Jim Brown at the airport at 5, I think it was like 5:30 a.m. So we got up at 5, and the airport was right beside our hotel. So we got up and was going to run there. And I had first shower, so I turned on ESPN to kind of watch what was going on, because I like to watch ESPN every morning before I wake up. And I saw the Escalade being towed, And I was thinking, man, that Escalade looks really familiar. So I turned up the noise a little bit, and it said, Ray Lewis arrested for murder. I was like, holy crap, man, we just saw him a few hours ago. I mean, literally, it was like, you know, we saw him at like 9 o'clock, and I think he was arrested like, I don't know, midnight or 1 o'clock or something. And like I said, it was crazy. But anyway, that's the time that I met Ray Lewis. And they say, if you guys like this story time, please hit like, please subscribe. We have so many stories. I mean, we chased autographs for 30 years, so we have all kinds of cool stories. We have a story where we met George Bush and got 18 autographs from him. I mean, we have some really crazy stories. We got a story about Wayne Gretzky and getting tons of autographs. And we got stories about Charles Barkley, and we got some funny stories, man. So hey, thanks again, and keep watching. Hit like, hit subscribe, and please hit all, that way you can see all my videos. Thanks, guys. Peace.